Chris and Amanda, the backyard wilderness.
On a late sunny afternoon, a boy named Chris and his sister Amanda were listening in as their parents discussed their plans to go out for the evening. Bingo was the topic at hand. Their parents were considering which babysitter to call from a long list of rotating possibilities. The children were familiar with all of them, they had their favorites and their not-so-favorites. They listened intently as their parents settled on Charlene, a mild-mannered but absent-minded teenager. The kids were happy with the choice because they knew Charlene would pay little attention to what they were doing, and sometimes even where they were. The siblings stayed in the playroom while the babysitter danced by herself in the living room. It seemed like the perfect time to plan an adventure, which usually meant a game of hide-and-seek outside. Chris turned to his sister. "Don't you think this is getting boring?" "What do you mean?" Amanda asked. "We've been doing the same old adventure since we were 5 and 7. But now we're 7 and 9. We should think of something else. How about hopscotch?" "That's fun," Amanda beamed. "No," said Chris thoughtfully. "Let's pretend to be like our ancestors, the Woodland Cree, and explore the wilderness." "The wilderness?" Amanda asked nervously. "But we'll get lost." "Oh no, just in the backyard, sister," Chris explained. "There are trails to follow, and we can always see the house." "Okay." Off they went. On the reserve, the backyard meant plenty of trees. The bush held many old trails, probably made long before there were houses in that area. Chris turned to Amanda. "Start counting at the meat-oosh, popular tree. Don't peek. I won't go far." When Amanda reached 10, she looked around and called out, "You better not have gone too far." She crept towards some red willows, where she thought her brother might be hiding. She jumped beside the brush and shouted, "I got you." But he wasn't there. In the distance, she heard a stick crack. "Is that you, Chris?" "That better be you." There was no response. The noise didn't continue, so she assumed it must have been him. Quietly, she walked toward the sound. "Chris," she whispered. Suddenly, Chris jumped out from behind a tree. "Boo!" he shouted. "Now I'm going to the home free tree, catch me if you can." Chris bolted toward where he thought the meat-oosh stood. "Hey, no fair!" Amanda yelled. "I'm supposed to find you first. You snooze, you lose." Chris snickered as he glanced back at her. But as he ran ahead, something felt wrong. He didn't recognize the trail. Had he taken a wrong turn? Or was he misremembering? He stopped. "Amanda," Chris called out, his voice less confident now. "Do you know where we are?" "In the backyard," Amanda assured him. "Our home is nearby." She looked behind her, then ahead, then side to side. Everything looked unfamiliar. "We're lost," she stammered. "Hold it now," Chris said, trying to stay calm. "We just need to find the meat-oosh, and we'll be home free." "I thought you said we'd be able to see the house," Amanda replied. "We need to get to the meat-oosh first," Chris insisted. They walked along an unfamiliar trail, Amanda staying close to her brother. There were no recognizable landmarks. No home-free tree. Not even one that looked similar. Chris felt worry building in his chest, but he forced himself to stay calm for Amanda, who looked more frightened by the minute. "What are we going to do, Chris? How will we get home?" "Stop whining like a puppy, Amanda. We'll find our way," Chris said, and then something clicked in his mind. "Amanda, your whining gave me an idea." Chris suddenly began howling like a dog, startling his sister. "What are you doing? Have you gone crazy?" she asked. "Amanda!" Chris exclaimed. "What nuisance is always overrunning the res?" "Dogs," she answered. "Exactly. Start howling and barking. When the dogs hear us, they'll bark back, and we'll know which direction to go." "You're a genius, Chris," Amanda said. So they howled and barked into the trees. After about 10 seconds, they stopped and listened. A moment later, faint barking echoed in the distance. "I never thought I'd be happy to hear those mutts barking," Chris said with relief. They followed the sound carefully until they finally reached the steps of their house. Amanda turned to her brother. What are we going to tell the babysitter? Relax, sister, Chris said. Let's just face the music. I'm exhausted from worrying. Amanda gave him a doubtful look. They walked inside and found Charlene asleep on the couch. The siblings exchanged a glance of relief. A few minutes later, their parents' car pulled into the driveway just as the babysitter was waking up. Hey, kiddies, what's up? Charlene asked groggily. Oh, nothing, Amanda replied. We were just about to get ourselves a snack. Their parents walked in. Hey kids, how was your evening? Good, they answered together. Anything exciting happen? Their father asked. No, not one thing, Chris said, winking at his sister.